This is Kreskin, and you're joining me in my weekly What's on My Mind. You know something, because of what we see taking place in major cities all over the country and in recent days, some of it so tragic, the breakdown of our laws and the security and the safety and the gun violence, I think we have to reflect upon this. And let me do it without becoming political. I don't want to get involved in the political situation because I just don't have enough cleaning fluid. But the bottom line is, look what's happening. And the signs are even in non-violent behavior. Tearing down of statues. Well, to me, that's a pretty violent scenario. The defacing of churches, and that has increased in recent days. We now have less police in major cities. My brother Joe, who's no longer with us, was a policeman after the Marines. He was a policeman for 20 years and dedicated to his work, and a very fine policeman. And yet today we have thousands of police leaving their jobs. And then the wisdom of some political figures of removing plainclothesmen in a city. And with the amount of guns that are badly handled, this was the best way of apprehending such people, because they would never reveal a criminal that they were carrying a gun if a uniformed police were in sight. Then, as if that were not enough, with the wisdom of some of our mayors and political state leaders, the prisons have been opened, and thousands, I can't even believe this, I would never have predicted this, thousands of criminals have been released to protect them from a disease. Of course, we've then, as a result, been exposed to a greater disease, the safety in our lives. I mean, months ago, New York City was a wonderful town to be able to walk at all times, even in the middle of the night. Would you do that today? Would you allow anyone that's close to you to do that today? I have a feeling that there is another solution. And if this does not seem realistic, maybe we can figure out a way of adapting to it. We have less police. I think one of the answers is that we need less politicians. Clean house. Get rid of a lot of people in Congress, a lot of people in the Senate. It's overcrowded. I realize it's the best place to go to make money because you don't need a degree in anything. And yet there's ways of navigating money to come in from all directions. It's less politicians. And let's increase, because we have more criminals on the streets, let's increase the wisdom of our political figures who want to win favor. Open your doors, those of you in politics, and welcome into your home maybe a half a dozen to a dozen of criminals that you've thrown on the street. But let them live in your home for the next, not a long period of time, maybe just the next 5, 6 months, a half a year or so. You can feed them and so forth until everything has been solved, the disease has been resolved, and they can be thrown back in prison. Because what's happened now, and the killing of innocent people on the streets, as Mayor de Blasio just said a few hours ago, this is not something we can allow. There's only one problem, Mr. Mayor. That's something you have allowed. You've opened the walking streets to criminals, and you've cut down the security we have. I want to make something clear, folks. Please understand this. I have nothing against politicians. I just wish that most of them had been on the Titanic. I'll see you next week. May the good Lord will it.